Hey everybody, just want to do a quick video on a report. I want to talk about the Masonic temple in Visalia, the one across the street from the hospital, my experience, and then something more recent. So my experience, and I actually called Craig Doyle, or I actually got a hold of somebody and he called me, and just to confirm this story, because I felt like before I go on the internet and talk about this, I want to make sure that I check with him first and make sure like our stories are the same, and he remembers what I remember and whatnot. So I talked to him, and our memories were exactly the same, except for one thing, is that I remembered it being a truck and he remembered it being a car. The reason I remember it being a truck is because I remember being able to see like a flat, like it was flat, like you could see the girl moving kind of clearly, but he kind of remembered it being a truck. We had the same color, which was red, and he actually remembered a little bit more than I did from the story. And the story goes like this. We left, it's a Friday night, and we used to go to this Friday night church group, where you like, there's like a pool table and foosball, and people watch movies and drink, and there's like a, you know, a concession stand or whatever. And so, because it was like a school as well as church. So, for Assembly of God. So basically, we left, and I don't remember if we went to go get donuts or we went to go get something. I don't even know. I don't know. But we were on top of the parking structure. We went because they had just built a parking structure, so everybody was going up there to like go, because it was like almost the tallest building in Visalia. So people were like just going up there to hang out or look at the city or whatever, because you could go up there. And so basically we went up, and we weren't there for more than maybe 30 seconds, and a policeman came up. They like made him get out of the car. They were acting like he had stolen the car, which he actually didn't remember that portion of it. But I only remembered it because I called the cops a name after when we were driving away, and I remember he was like, that's not ladylike. But anyways, they were like kind of treating him, because we were in his brother's car, Eric, and so we were in his, like I think it was like a Mustang or something. It was like a 80s one, you know. And so we were in his car, and he was like, he's my brother. They look alike. They look a lot alike. And so he's like, this is my brother's car and whatever. And then he got in the car. He was just like, kind of like, what was that? Like, what's so weird about us just like being, we're both young. We're both teenagers. So it was kind of weird. And then on the way home, this is what's weird. We got down and we got onto Mineral King. Now, Visalia used to be such a small town that our freeway would like come from, it would stop at like when you get off the mountain, and then it would just turn into a road. And so along our freeway was Mineral King, and it used to be like, you know, a Kmart shopping center, and there was actual lights on the freeway. And then they, you know, dug it out and made it go underground and made it more like a city. And now Mineral King is Mineral King, and 198 is just 198. So during this time, we actually followed this person. He ran all the red lights. He's in that little Mustang. He had to like completely pedal to the metal, like to like catch up. We could never fully catch up with him because he just kept running red lights. And there was a girl, like a dead girl. She was dead. I mean, she looked dead. I didn't check her pulse, but this bitch looked dead. And she was like, she kept falling over, and then he would like put her up, and then she'd be all and fall over. He would like put her up, you know, and I'm like, oh my god, so people might say, well, why didn't you report it to the police? Yeah, I don't, I'm pretty sure we were not supposed to be hanging out. So that did not get reported. It was just always something that was like weird that I never told anybody, and he probably never told anybody about either, but it was just, we chased these people all the way until they got on past the freeway and left. So all those lights on the freeway, he was trying to get out of town, and so all those lights on the freeway, he just ran them all, and we were like trying to catch up, and I don't know if we were supposed to call the cops or what we should do, but he was taking a girl from that Masonic temple in a red truck. To me it was a truck, he said it was a car, and in case a red vehicle, and we tried to catch up with him, and they were gone. I mean, they were gone. And most recently, my friend was kind of spying. She's been spying on the Masons. Haha, jig is up. They caught her already during this specific time. And she saw that the lights were on, so she went down to her little spot where she hides. And you can, in the spot, you can, if you have a small enough car, you can park your car here. They can't see you, but you can hear everything that's going on. There's a parking structure. And so she parked there. This is the parking structure I'm telling you about. She's parked there. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the parking structure is owned by the Masonic Lodge. Ding. Okay, so that whole block is owned by the Masons. It has always been since Visalia was called Visalia. So, she was parked there, and the same guy came out. He has a car that has the pentagrams, like badges, like metal ones, like on each side of his vehicle. And he wears a top hat, and he has a red beard, and he smokes a pipe. And so he was like standing out. I mean, for all I know, this could be entertainment. They could be talking about coughing. You know what I mean? Like, but what she said she heard was that they came out and they were like circled up in the back of the lodge or the temple. And he was like, that was a lot of coffins. What'd you think about all those coffins? And then the other guy was like, I don't know. That was a lot of coffins. And so they were going back and forth talking about like, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, what'd you think about that many coffins? And so they're going back and forth. So it was just kind of weird. And if they, maybe they were saying it was coughing because everybody's sick around here. I don't know. I don't know. But she really, really felt like they were saying coffins, and she was pretty sure. And then suddenly it was like they were going to say something, and then he stopped. And you can see she said she could see that there's smoke going up. And they stopped, and then suddenly a car came down and started driving around. And so she saw the car, and it was just driving around. So she was like, time to go. And she left. But you also have to remember that one of the false flags, this Newtown shooting, in the Newtown shooting, the guy is just running off. He's like in the camo gear. He's running off, and then he's the guy that looks in the camera and says, I didn't do it, or whatever. Where's he running to? There's only one thing out there, and it was the Masonic Lodge. And then Newtown was one of these convergence towns. So I just wonder if maybe they're trying to plan something in Visalia like that. I know we have heavy MK Ultra programming here. I need to write that down. I just thought of something I want to tell you guys. All day long, I think of things I want to tell you, and then I write them down on cards. So I just thought of another one. Okay. So anyways, I wonder if they're trying to do like another false flag event, because there's a lot of MK Ultra here, and a lot of weird, just... kidnappings, and you've heard me talk about it on my other videos. I don't want to go into much of the negative stuff, but that is what I have to say about the Visalia Masons and the coffins. Also, that when I was in high school, I lived with the McGee's, and the mother used to really abuse the daughter physically. And one night, from like the Rothschilds mansion here in town, which is the Laurelwood Estate, we bought, I swear, from the Laurelwood Estate, like it's so crazy, but we bought black pyramid acid when I was 16. Yeah, we bought black pyramid acid, and we all did it, and it was crazy. But this one night, this is the night after I had done it, I think 2 nights in a row, or 3 days, twice in 3 days, and that's the last time I ever did anything like that. It was like twice in my whole life I ever did anything like that, but. This particular time, I was at their house, and we prepared the room. She like all dragons, so if we pull the dragon shit away, we don't want that. And her mom, I guess, had decided to go like crazy that night and hit her, and she wanted to know why we were up so late. And then she pulled my eyebrow ring out. That is why I have a scar. Eastern Star pulled this eyebrow ring out. Thanks, Lorraine. So, basically, she said it was septic, which it probably was infected. I needed to put antibiotic on it or something like that, but she kept saying it was septic, and she kept yanking on it. It's septic! It's septic! They're from Scotland, like straight up. They live in Scotland now. So, Louise, if you get this video, hello. Basically, her mom, this particular night, because like she was slapping her, things were happening, and then we were on acid, and she decided she was going to fight back for the first time ever, because I was there. She felt a little bit stronger or whatever, and I was freaking out. They took the phones. They wouldn't let us, they wouldn't let me call my parents for help. They wouldn't let me go to my school the next morning. We drove all the way to San Francisco and then came back, because I didn't really want to leave, and she was afraid that her dad's people would eventually find us, because the Masons, and that they would eventually find us. And we drove all the way back, got into her bed, and then like her dad like walked in, and he was like, "Get up for school." We were like, holy shit, he must have known that we left, and he was just waiting for us to come back. I mean, we had just thrown all of our stuff, because we had the trunk full of our stuff, and we were like 16. driving like in her parents' car is crazy. But when it was all going on, the police were called because she had like a scratch mark across her face. Her mom had scratched her and stuff, and it was just it got really hairy and got really scary. You know, we're young, tripping, and because it had happened before, I guess, she had like a hidden phone wrapped up, or maybe she had it because she got grounded from the phone, she wanted a sneaky little phone call, I don't know, but it seemed like, you know, she had it, and she called 911, I said, help me, and then I hung it up, and I put the phone, we hid it, and like 12 cops showed up with canines and everything. They came through the house. He said just a couple of, I always say, he just said a couple Masonic words to these people. They opened the door, looked, they shined the flashlight on us, put it down, shut the door. They would let me go home, they would let me call my parents. They, I'm pretty sure they broke the law doing that. And then the next morning, they wouldn't even take me to my school. They took me to Golden West, which I had already left Golden West. I was going to Mount Whitney. So they were going to let me in my school, which I thought was weird. And they wouldn't take me. They took me way out into the middle of the country. It just didn't make any sense. But that's what happened. And but then I have to also say that before that night had happened, that I had really learned a lot from this family. That, you know, she's the one who sat down. She was like, you know, if you want to be a rock star, that's cool. It's cool. But you need to have a backup plan, you know, in case that doesn't work out. And every generation is supposed to improve. So actually, I learned a lot from those people. But I also learned about the Masons because my friend was actually in the Rainbows, and I guess the story is via third party, this is third party information, that her mom came home one day, went into her room, took everything that was Rainbows out of her room, everything, and then burned it and said, don't ever ask about this again. So I wonder what she saw or what she heard of happen to one of the Rainbow girls. I also know that one of the Rainbow girls that was here in Visalia, that her father was one of these, you know, guys in these orders and stuff like that, and he was definitely having sex with her for a long time, and her whole story was like the Twin Peaks story, down to the creepy guy in the house across the way that used to come over and rape her, but it really was her dad. And when later on, when Dr. King had given me the Twin Peaks movies, I didn't watch them all or anything. I just watched the one. I gave them all back. I was like, I can't watch this. And he was like, oh, you know, yeah, it's a little something. I said, no, it's not that. It's exactly like my friend from elementary school. We had almost the same birthday. I was like, it's exactly like her. I mean, the actress looks like her. I mean, it's the exact fucking story. Like, why? How can the actress even look identically like her? It was too damn weird for me, because it was like the same story. We used to swim in her backyard, and she would show me the old rickety house. That's where he lives. He's like mentally ill, and he's deformed, and then like it was just weird. And then turned out being her dad later on. Everybody found out. And then more MK Ultra stuff. Supposedly, like, she was raped by like 5 guys, and they recorded it and sent the videotape around town, or it was a cassette tape like around town. It was in the 90s. So it was just weird. More MK Ultra stuff. A lot of girls that get abused by MK Ultra get abused by, unfortunately, a lot of the gangs and stuff like that. So, because they use the gangs. But, anyways, Visalia Masons, they tried to build their first lodge at St. John's River, but it didn't work. And they tried to conceal that site, but they couldn't do it. They've got the one in Washington, D.C. concealed by the mall, by the Washington Mall, but you can look it up by searching Giza, USA. And it is on what's known as the Mud River. So St. John's, I'm going to do another little bit on St. John's. I'm writing it down right now. St. John's and voodoo. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching my video and hanging in there with me. That's what I know about the Visalia Masons. If you have seen any weird, suspicious stuff going on around here, let me know. Oh, the other piece of that puzzle, a little bit, is that the Masonic Lodge is a tunnel that goes from the Masonic Lodge to, well, it goes a lot of different places, but it definitely goes to the hospital, so just that.